screen is up, right, for everyone?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay. So
Yes, yes.
whatever topics is being taught, you can come here and practice it. So by default, I'm directly sharing this as an assignment to you. Okay. So if you click on view all the questions, these are all the keywords that we would be covering in our SQL. Okay, in select statement part alone, whereas there are other set of SQL keywords which we would also be covering, which is not practicable in online compilers as well. So this is one part of the assignment, whereas there is one more. So this is another website. So these are all the
Your voice is breaking.
is it now better?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is also one more website which I would be sharing. You can also practice it here. Then let's say in case you guys are facing some difficulties or you're not able to solve it, we can discuss it in the upcoming classes or the very next class itself. Okay. So these two are the links. I would be sharing these two. Is my PowerPoint up for you guys?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. So these are the agenda for today. What is RDBMS? What are ER diagrams? What are keys? Relation model in DBMS, and what are the different branches of SQL commands? Okay, these are all the overall things. What is RDBMS? So RDBMS is an acronym. It stands for Relational Database Management System. So this is a piece of software. Okay, so this can be any kind of software. For example, Oracle uses stored MySQL, whereas Microsoft uses MS SQL. Google uses BigQuery. Snowflake has its own UI. No, it's basically a piece of software through which we can access the database. Okay. So all the modern database managements are kind of, with the companies of Google, IBM, Amazon, Snowflake, Postgres. Okay. These are all the major providers of current databases and its RDBM and its software packages. So this relational database, right, this particular piece of software, the initial founder was a person called as EF Cod, and this was particularly invented in the late 1970s when he was working with IBM. So the actual predecessor of the software was IBM, or else we can tag it as a pioneer of the software as IBM. Okay, so how this particular piece of software is used and how is it is giving us the data. So conventionally in a database, right? It's okay. I'll give you an analogy. Have you guys worked with Excel or have you guys seen Excel? EXEL.
Yes.
So how does an Excel spreadsheet is represented to you guys or visually shown to you guys?
Worksheets.
Yeah, worksheets. The contents of the worksheets essentially. It's rows and columns, right? So what does rows and columns whenever a row and column intersect, what is it being formed?
Cells.
Cells. A bunch of cells forms what? A table, right? Like we can format it as a table just for our convenience, I'm saying. Similarly, the same thing when it is scale level into an enterprise level software becomes a database. Okay. The Excel is also a database. Still now, lot of Western companies uses Excel for most of their work. Okay, that is a mini version of a database. Okay, so this is the overall introduction part on RDBMS. Okay, cool. So ER diagrams. So this ER diagram, right? I would say don't emphasize this or put more time on this. I would say why so is because this is kind of outdated, and this concept is kind of important to a specific branch of IT or database architectures, something like the data science field, but not for the entirety. So what do I mean by that is, as a normal data scientist or a data analyst or even a business analyst does not need to know what ER diagrams are. ER diagrams are meant for designing databases. Uh, the roles encompasses, database architect, database admins. These are the people who needs to actually know what ER diagrams and how to read that. And nowadays as well, these ER diagrams are kind of dead because a new set of diagrams has replaced this. It's called as schema diagrams. And ER diagrams is also again an acronym. It stands for entity relationships diagrams. So these diagrams would be created even before the database is being created, like in the software I'm saying. So essentially, ER diagram is a blueprint to create those databases. Okay, what data it will house, what are the different data sets it will house, what are the data types, and all of these things. Okay, that's what ER diagrams are used. Just give me a minute, guys. Sorry. Yeah, I'm back. So whatever I was, orating, right? These are all the points. You can read it at your own pace. I'll share this presentation. Whereas now our focus will be shifting onto this diagram. So you can see this, it looks like a spider, right? That's a small rectangle in the middle, whereas it is surrounded by four ovals. What does this rectangle and oval mean? In ER diagrams, specific components are being represented with specific shapes. Okay? Our table would be always represented with rectangles, whereas the columns which are present in those tables would be represented using ovals. So given this as an instruction, right? Can you identify what are columns and what is the table?
Student is a table and name, address, ID, age, or
Exactly. On point. Moving on. What are the different components are or pieces that make up this diagrams? One is the entity slash table. This rectangle, right? Rectangle is called as entity in technical terms. The ovals, which we were seeing, right? These are called as attributes. And then relation is nothing but if and all there are lines between two rectangles, it's called as a relation. Okay, these are all the base components of an ER diagram. Under each of these base diagrams, there are different variants. Under table, we are having a weak entity, that is a weak table. Under columns, you are having key columns, composite columns, multi-valued columns, and derived columns. Under relations, there are different types of linkages that can happen. That is one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, and many-to-many. We will be covering each of these things in the upcoming slide. So I'll take a pause here. So is there any questions till now?
no,
Any
sir.
question? Okay. So, and also, guys, please do not hesitate to ask questions. So this course is for you guys. So it's not for me unless until you ask questions. I'll I can easily move through the content. Rather, I would like to clear your questions and then move it slowly. That's how I usually take classes. Kindly try to ask questions whenever you're not understanding anything. Let it be my language, or let's say you are not able to understand the way that I'm explaining a thing, feel free to ask such kind of. Okay. Next is like as I promised, now we'll be deep diving into each of these components in detail. So entities, as I said, entity slash table. These are nothing but table names. So here you are seeing two rectangles joined together by a diamond symbol. A straight line is passing through the diamond. How to interpret this diagram? So, and there is a table called as employee. There is a table called as a department. There should be a linkage, right? Let's say you have to join these two tables. There needs to be a condition. So, what is the possible condition here? I have written in the diamond works for. Whenever you are able to see a diamond, it means that it's a condition which needs to be satisfied in order to join that two particular tables. Simple as that. That's how you need to Read this diagram. Now, coming back, what is a weak entity or a weak table? So, how many of you guys are having a loan? Does anyone have a loan? There is no need to disclose the loan amounts or something like that. I just need to know.
Yes.
So, okay, a lot of people have, right?
Yes.
This analogy you guys can easily, relate to. So, let's say I am taking a housing loan of 20 lakhs for 10 years. Okay. So, how much would be my EMI or an, payback?
Depends on the interest.
So, let's say this bank is offering interest free. Just for sake of understanding, right? Let's make it zero. The loan is 20 lakhs. The tenure is 20 years. How much should I pay each month? Anyone? Is opening. So 20 lakhs divided by 20 is what?
Like 8.3K per month.
8.3K per month, correct? So this is for 20 years. What if the tenure of return is 15 years? Within 15 years, you have to pay back the 20 lakhs. So the amount would have been raised to 11,000, 1100, 11,000 111 something like that, or 12 something like that. What if the tenure is being reduced to 10 years? Hmm. 16,000 or 15,000 something. So like, even though my initial loan amount is the same, why the monthly payment is changing? What is the factor? So I gave you three examples. You guys said the answer correctly, right? What made the amount to be paid back to be increased?
If we reduce the years, then the amount will be increased.
Exactly. Similar. So there is a linkage, right? So the EMI is dependent on the tenure of payment, correct? Can we conclude that?
Yes.
Yes.
So the same concept, if and all we implement in a database, it's called as a weak entity. So there are there is a table, primary table. So and there is another secondary table. So table A and table B. If table B's values depends on table A's values, then it is called as weak entity. The table B will be coined as a weak entity because changing a value in table A would trigger a change in table B as well. So that's why I have written loan and installment. Okay? So this loan table might have the tenure and the principal amount, whereas the installment would be depending on uh, the tenure that it needs to be paid back along with the interest, correct? So you guys understood what weak entity is, right? Okay, cool. Next is attribute. So please forgive me, I was kind of lazy. So instead of ovals, I have drawn circles, which was much more easier for me to put. But it's actually ovals. So how many columns are there here?
4 columns.
Exactly.
What?
Next is key attribute, the actual type of column. So I'll ask you this question. So everyone was in school. So let's say a class of 30 students are there. How to individually pick a student? How to uniquely pick a
Name,
student?
roll number.
Using
Why?
roll
Why
number.
roll number? Why
Name.
roll number? Why roll number and why name? Name is an interesting answer. Yes.
Roll number because
Name
it's
is repetitive, but the ID is unique one. Unique.
Okay. Okay. So someone coined name, right? Why do you feel name would be enough? So guys, I'm not trying to seclude any persons or target. I'm just trying to understand what perspective you're thinking. Why name? Someone said name. Hello.
The
No one.
particular name will be associated with the ID.
And that is fine. So that's why people were coining ID. ID can be used, but someone directly said name can be used. Okay. Maybe, that person is not talking back. Let's keep it. So, ID, as you guys said, I completely agree. ID can be used. So, then in this case, ID can be tagged as a key attribute. Okay. So that's why you are able to see ID will be having an underline. It's a very small underline I have done, but there is an underline over here. So whenever a column is used to uniquely pick a row in a table, it's called as a key attribute. So then I'll shoot couple of more questions. Yeah. No, no. I'll have that question for a later part. That is second part of the PPT. I have to have it there. Next is composite attribute. So you guys have been filling government forms, right? Government forms. Let it be, you know, LIC forms or license registration forms or voter ID, Aadhaar card, whatever it might be. Have you guys ever filled your name directly? Like, your name would be in single forms, right? Like your name, there'll be small, small boxes. You will be writing one character per box, correct?
Right, correct.
Yes.
But have you ever seen a digital form? So let's say you are creating your Facebook ID. How many of you guys have a Facebook ID? No one. You guys are so innocent.
It was long back.
But okay, you guys might have created your email ID, right? Email ID is any people, recent people. So all of my analogies are now going into drain. Anyone who lost their license recently or applied passport recently,
Yes.
okay, you guys might have seen that your name would be collected into different parts: first
Yes,
name,
sir.
last name, and middle name. So why that differentiation is happening with physical forms and electronic forms? Have you guys ever wondered? So in our earlier days, people did not have any kind of differentiation in their names, even though people had first name, last name, and all, right. We were following a British conventional forms. Whatever the name is, they'll directly have it as a first name. Whereas now we are slowly transitioning into a system where their family names would be treated as their last name, whereas middle and first names are actually preferred. So those are the like, I'm not trying to be an like, I would say regionist, I would say. Whereas most of the North Indians are having first name, last name, and middle name. Okay, they prefer using their first name as their legal name, whereas the middle and last for strangers that can be used and then they can be called on to. Whereas considering South Indians, right, we don't usually have a concept of middle name. We usually take up our father's name or a family name as our last, whereas the first name would be our given name. So that's why the government has now create digital forms which would be able to crack each and every part of the name properly. So can can the government form a name from all of these three individual names? Yes. just by combining all of these three columns or all of these three values. Let's say, I don't remember any three names. Okay, I have a friend whose name is Yash Mohanta Banerjee. Okay, that guy is from Kolkata. This guy has three names. So his given name is Yash, whereas his family name is Mohanta. Banerjee is kind of their surname. Okay, so for him, he can easily enter Yash into first name, Mohanta into his middle name, and Banerjee into his last name. Okay, whereas for me, right, I just take Rishi A. That is my initial. So first name would be my Rishi, and last name would be the letter A. Okay. Whereas now the government can easily form both of our names by just combining all of these three column values. So that's called as a composite attribute. If a column is composed of two or more columns, then it is called as a composite attribute. There is no special representation to this. It's a concept. Okay. Next is multi-valued attribute. So the direct example that I can give here is a Google's security options. So let's say you are having a Gmail ID. It will ask you to add a backup number, recovery number, and a recovery mail. Correct? So that recovery option is just one value for Google, but it can accept phone numbers, email addresses, or even multiple email addresses as its value or multiple phone number as its value. So if a column can accept any type of value, that is multiple type of values, and that too in multiple values actually, then it is called as a multi-valued attribute. Multi-valued attributes are usually represented in an ellipse inside an ellipse. This is a special notation. Okay, cool. Any questions till now? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Next is derived attribute. I'll ask the question. How do you guys calculate age? How do you guys calculate age?
Date of birth minus
Mhm.
current date.
Oh, so that is a simple calculations, right? So if you just know what if you just know date of birth of a person, you can automatically calculate an age. So that's why most of the forms doesn't even ask for your age, rather than it asks for your date of birth. So that's why age here is being represented as a dotted ellipse. It's the representation for that. So, those type of columns are called as derived attributes. So any questions before we jump into the next topic?
No.
Okay. Mm, Next is called as relationships. So relationships are nothing but uh like relationship is a concept which can be further understood by learning joins. Okay, you can relate relationships to joins when we are covering joins. Just to give a very higher level understanding. So a table can contain multiple rows, correct? There is no restriction of how many rows it can or how many values it can house. So, let's say one row from one table is being joined to another table, just only one row from the another table. It is called as one-to-one relationship. A best analogy is that marriages would be monogamous, I would say. So that is one person from one gender can always legally marry only one another person of the opposite gender. Correct? So that kind of translates to one male can marry only one female legally at one point of time. The reverse can also happen. So that's why you are able to see female as a table and male as a table. And then in the diamond, I have written married to. So on top of the line, I have mentioned one and one. So this means one row from one female table and another row, only one single row from the male table can be joined together. So this is how we represent the relationships between tables. Cool. Any questions before we go? Any questions, guys?
No.
Okay, everyone understood, right?
Yes.
Okay. So next is one to many relationship. The best example is scientist and patents. So let's take an example of Thomas Alva Edison. So that guy invented light bulb, right? So did you guys know how many bulbs that he tried before finding the one which was actually working? The bulb that actually worked was around thousand something certain. Okay, so this guy actually holds patents for thousand light bulbs that did not work, and also holds the patent for the bulb which actually works. So he is only one single scientist, but multiple values are under him or can be tapped to him. That is called as one to many relationship. Okay. Next is the ulta, many to one relationship. So a best example is students, classes and students. So every children or any children who's going for a specific class, right? Let's say 8th standard A section. The school starts at around let's say 9. The first period would be ranging from 9 to 9:45, assuming it's a 45-hour class. So all of this 30 students would be just attending that one particular class. So it's not like, they can take up, 15 students can take up history and another 15 can take up geography at the same time, I'm saying. It's just one single course. So here many students are tagged to one single course. Can you guys relate? Is it clear, guys? One to many and many to one relationship.
Yes, sir.
So the final relationship type is many to many. A classic example is IT. Yeah. So corporates. So in order to make profits, many employees would be simultaneously working on multiple projects. Many rows from employee table would be joined to many rows of projects table. Okay. This is how many to many relationship would work. So this relationship, right? So some interviewers can ask a question on cardinality. What do you mean by cardinality? Don't get, any fear of I don't know this term. Rishi hasn't taught me that. Cardinalities is another technical jargon for relationships. They'll ask, what is a cardinality? You just have to say cardinality is nothing but the relationship between two tables or two or more tables. That's how it is. There are four types of cardinality: one, one to many, many to one, many to many. Simple as that. Oh, okay. Next is keys. So we saw this key, right? The key attribute. So this key attribute can be further divided into 7 to 8 types. We'll see one at a time. So there are two tables here, student and person. Can you guys try to understand and then say what column can be used as a key?
ID.
So ID in students. Okay, what about the person? So here SSN stands for Social Security Number, which is nothing but Aadhaar card. So what can be the key here in the person statement?
Passport number, license number, and SSN, sir.
All three. Are you sure?
Yes, sir. All three are unique to each person. They cannot be same for everyone.
Exactly. So, but in that case, right, like let's say you're going for a college admission, like the college admissions would be asking for your Aadhaar card, they would be asking for your license number, passport number. All of these three will be collected from you. And just assume that there is one more column called as ID in persons table as well. In that case, you will have four columns which will be unique to that student, right? What you will pick?
ID,
Why?
because many people don't have license or passport or
So, but
SSN.
Aadhaar card number will be there for everyone, right? License, passport, I agree. But Aadhaar card would be present for every student, every single individual in India. Then why to have ID in that case? Any idea?
But
Because the
I
data we are handling with is about students, sir. So maybe because of that.
Okay, that is a very good guess. Any other guesses? Anyone? Anyone else?
ID will be created in the college itself, so they have the control over the data.
That is also a very good guess. Then
Easy to retrieve.
that is also a correct guess. Then see, you guys are giving the same answers, but in different linguistic terms. See, okay, I'll simply ask the question. Do you guys remember your Aadhaar card? Do you guys remember your Aadhaar card number?
No,
No.
no.
Ah, simple as that. See, depending on the context, we have to adapt ourselves. So that's why the colleges, right, are using or creating their ID card. And also think about the student's perspective, right? Like Aadhaar card is around 16-digit number. No one would be willing to write their 16-digit number whenever they are going into an exam hall or whenever they are entering a classroom for attendance. This will be very hard. Same thing, same scenario. We can apply it for offices as well. Why are the offices not asking their employees to record their Aadhaar card number as a proof of attendance? Because it will be very hectic process. Whenever you want to go out, you have to write your Aadhaar card number. So that's why all of you three who guessed right, it's a combination. The answer is a combination of all three. It's easier to maintain for their own purpose because the Aadhaar card, colleges are not going to use that anymore or anywhere. There is no need for them. Whereas all the students can be easily governed by using their college ID card numbers or college IDs, and other process can be tied to that ID so that other details can be retrieved from that. Anyhow, your license number, passport number, Aadhaar card number would be linked to your college ID card. If you just catch hold of that ID and then search for these details, all of these things would be popping up. So that is the reason of this. One person specifically guessed the most accurate. Depending on the scenarios, we use keys. That is the most exact answer I was looking at. Okay. Whereas all the other guesses were also correct. Okay. So that's how keys are fixed. If a table is having multiple unique value or columns which can be used to fetch unique values. So these are all the different types of keys which I was talking about. Primary key is nothing but the previous key which we were talking about. So we can skip that. Candidate keys. So in this employee table, like given the scenario, you guys said I'll choose employee ID, right? All the other columns which can be still used to get the unique rows, right? Those are called as candidate keys. So what is a super key? Super key is a combination of the primary key along with any other column. Okay, that is called as a super key. This is nowhere used. This is a redundant concept. Nowhere is used. Among the key, among the keys, the most important ones. So among the keys, the most important values or most important concepts are primary key and foreign key. So these are standard interview questions. Apart from that, like I have been working with databases for around 6 years now. Like I was doing an internship, including that 6 years. We have nowhere used super key, candidate key, artificial key, nothing like it. Primary key and foreign key. Simple. Okay. So next is foreign key. So I'll shoot a question. So you are trying to join an college for an robotics engineering degree. So you have selected a college called as PSG, but that college is not having robotics. Would you be able to join that college?
No,
Why?
because they don't have the course.
Ah, so then what you will do?
Look for some other college.
You will look for some other college. Correct. Now let's take a U-turn perspective. You are running a company. Okay, you are hiring for let's say a software engineering role. Would you be hiring for a person if you're not having that capability?
No,
Please understand my question. Would you be hiring a person if you are not having that department? You'll have the department, then then only you'll hire, right? In order to
yes,
give that person some kind of work. So this is the concept of a foreign key. So the thing is like the foreign key table, right, acts as an guardrail so that values are not randomly getting inserted. Simple. So that is the concept. For instance, um, let's take that college and department example only. So if the college is not having the department, but still you want to join that college, you can give a petition to that college stating that I'm looking forward for this course. Can you guys create that course? That is one possibility. Or the next best possibility is that you will find a different college which gives that course. Correct? These two are the only thing. So in this case, the bigger employee table here, right, is the college. The smaller employee table is the departments in that college. So this the bigger one will have students, department IDs, all of these details, whereas the smaller employee tables here will just house the department IDs. So let's say some new department needs to be created. First, they have to enter that department ID into the smaller table so that values can be associated to the main table. This is the concept of a foreign key. So do you guys know X lookup and V lookup in Excel? Anyone? Anyone who knows lookups?
Yes.
So if a value you are trying to look up one certain value into another value, if that is not present, what it will return?
NA,
Why it is returning NA?
because it's looking for particular data and it's not available within the primary key data.
Exactly. The same concept for the database as well. That data is not existing. So that's why it is returning. Like, it won't be allowing us to enter it. Okay. This is the concept behind primary key and foreign key. So everyone understood what a foreign key is, right? Is there anyone who did not understand what a foreign key is? Guys, if not, kindly let me know. I'll try to reiterate.
So could you please explain me about foreign key again, please?
Okay, there are two tables. Just assume that there are two tables. So the bigger one, the employee table here, right? It it is the like let's consider as an employee master data, which will have employee ID, name, their passport number, license number, Aadhaar card number, and department ID. So let's say a new hire is joining, whereas the company that you are working in has just only four departments: administration, engineering, R&D, and then finance. Okay. Whereas the new guy is saying, I am going to HR department. Will you ask the question in our company there is no HR department? How will you join, right? You'll ask that question, correct?
Yes.
But that guy is still insisting that I am going to join HR only. So at the back end, what the company has done is that they have created an HR department, the smaller one, the smaller employee table here, right? Under that table, you will be initially just having only four records. That is finance, administration, engineering, and R&D. So in order to assign that employee to an HR, we have to insert a row into the smaller table that is called as department ID as department name as HR. Then only that guy can be inserted into this main table. It's like a guardrail or a security or a watchman saying that, hey, I'm not able to find the department, you won't be allowed into this table. Something like that. Okay. Is it now relatable for you?
Yes.
Okay. So that's all about foreign key. Next is alternate key. The candidate key is called as an alternate key. Another jugaad term. Nothing much. Composite key is same as the super key. Again, a redundant concept, not needed. Next is an artificial key. So artificial keys are used uh, where primary keys are not present. Okay. Or even if primary keys are present, it is maintained for auditability and traceability within databases for certain tables, not for all the tables. What do we mean by an artificial key? Artificial keys are nothing but row numbers. Literally, for every row in the table, we'll assign one numeric number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that. Continuous numbers will be assigned. This is called as an artificial key. Okay. This is all about keys. The major point that we have to put our focus on is primary key and foreign key. These two are standard interview question. Okay, cool. Any questions on keys before we go into the technical terms that we would be using?
No, sir.
Okay. So relational modeling DBMS. So this is an example of a table. So the terms that I wanted to discuss are domain, attribute, relational instance, relational schema, relational key, and all of these things. Out of which we have already discussed attribute. What is a relational key? Relational keys are nothing but primary key. Okay, so what is the primary key of this particular table which is being displayed here?
Roll number.
Roll number.
Exactly. So what are the attributes?
Name. Roll number.
Exactly. Name, roll number, phone number, address, and age. So if someone asks what is a relational schema, you just have to mention the column names along with the table name. Simple. The table name is student. Column names are name, roll number, phone number, address, and age. That is called as a relational schema. Okay. Next is relational instance. You can give example of one entire row. So if someone asks, can you give me relational instance of the student relation? Just have to mention Ram, roll number, phone number, Noida, and 24. Same things. Next is domain. Domain is nothing but the most individual singular value. You can give any value as a domain. Ram, Noida, 40, 17284. These are all domains. Okay. The most individual value of a row or under column intersection is called as a domain. Clear? Clear, right? The same thing I have explained here in detail. Whatever I have narrated is present over here. Next is SQL commands and its types. So SQL, right? It has a wide range of commands. It's not like no, like the concepts are very small, whereas one particular bucket of command has a very long, large list of syntaxes, I would say. So that's why they came up with this kind of a bucketing: DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQ. This is again one of the most repeatedly asked interview questions. They'll ask what are the different buckets of SQL command. Just have to narrate DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. So these are all acronyms. DDL stands for data definition language. DML stands for data manipulation language. DCL stands for data control language. TCL stands for transaction control language. DQL stands for data query language. Out of all of these buckets, right, a data analyst, business analyst would be entitled to just use DQL. DCL, TCL is basically database administrators alone command. So let's say you're really good with SQL, your clients might even allow you to use DDL commands and DML commands, but not DCL and TCL. These two are strictly prohibited. These are just meant for database administrators. Okay, no one else. Okay, so under DDML command, it's these are the commands which come into that: create, drop, alter, truncate. This is used to I would say create the skeleton that would hold the data. Okay, it's like human bones. Like our muscles are tied to our bones. If there is no bone, there won't be any muscle standing. So the DDL is like that skeleton. Basically, all the commands which can be run on tables: creation of tables, deletion of tables, altering the tables, uh, like that. Next is DML. Under DML, it's insert, update, and delete. It's basically our muscles, blood, everything, organs, all of these things. So, if and all there is no table existing, you won't be able to run any of the DML commands. So this includes inserting a value into a table, deleting a value from a table, updating the existing value from a table. Okay, all of these things. DQL is like selecting the value and then seeing it. So give an example, like an analogy. This is kind of a dumb analogy. Please forgive me for that. DDL is like you are being born. DML is like you are going for, like while you are being formed, there'll be muscles and all of these things to be additioned. Let's say you are grown into an adult and then you want to do a plastic surgery, then that would be into insert statements, update statement, delete statement. Then let's say you are getting an fracture or something like that. You are inserting a plate into a bone, something like that. Whereas DQL, the surgeons essentially. DQNs are the surgeons. Surgeons will know what to select from your body to be replaced at that time point, or that point of time. Okay. This is the best analogy that I could give for you guys to remember. But please don't use this analogy in any type of interviews. Okay. This is just for you guys to remember it. Cool. So that's all I had for today. I'll stop it here. I'll share this presentation with you guys in the WhatsApp chat. In tomorrow's class, we'll cover the part two of this, continuation of this. Okay. Cool. Okay. Someone is super excited. Something like that. Take your silence as well. Yeah. So yesterday, this is where we left. So slide number 4 till slide number 13. It's for your reference. Okay. I'm not going to teach about or talk about it in today's session. Whereas each of these topics will be covered in depth in the later on classes. Okay. This is more or less like an cheat sheet for you guys. So let's say for create statement, what would be the syntax be looking like? A small implementation of that code. Okay, this you have to use the slides from 4 till 13. Whereas the major discussion point for us would be on the data and data types. Okay. First, I'll show the question. What do you call a data?
A collection of information.
Collection of then what is the information? What is an information? Like what do we mean by information?
Any kind of information like file.
No, like that's what I asked. What is an information? Again, you guys are pointing at any kind of information. Like, what do we exactly mean by information?
Any kind of data.
Any kind of. If I
Any
ask what is
knowledge.
data, you guys are saying it's information. If I ask information, it's any kind of data. It's good guess though. So yeah, then what do we actually tag as an information?
And knowledge about something.
Sorry, it's kind of echoing.
Data is a knowledge.
As knowledge.
Process data.
Okay, process data is information. Then data is also information. Okay, I'll agree if you guys ask, someone asks what does data means, it's a collection of information. That I agree upon completely. Whereas if someone asks what is an information, uh, anything that you listen, see, hear, everything is information for you. It's basically truth. Truth is information. So I can lie to you, but that is not an information. Whereas if I say a truth, and if you find it as a truth, then it will be turned as an information. Okay. So that is so informations gives you, data, actual data. That is the explanation that are present in the books. A collection of facts is called as information. Collection of information is called as a data. Give the actual textbook definition. Okay, there you go, it is. So this one it is. So can you give me examples of a data? Can you guys give me an example of data?
Person's name, ID, number.
Okay, name, ID, number, good. Then
Okay. Weather forecast.
weather forecast. Okay. Okay. Are those the only data?
Age, address, passport number, SSN.
Okay. Demographics, personal details. Okay, great. Then
Client data.
client data as in what?
In the bank, in bank sectors.
Okay.
I mean,
Again, demographic informations, bank statements, and all of that things.
yes.
Others? Is there any other data that is there?
Age, salary.
That's what. Demographics of a person, financial information of a person. Apart from that,
Country information, sales information.
that's why I tagged it as demographic information. Apart from that, is there any other data?
Digital activities like social media post, Google search and
Okay.
query, like that.
Okay. Apart from that, anything else?
E-commerce details.
E-commerce details. Okay. Then. Uh, so okay, I'm talking to you. Is that an information? Is that data for you? Whatever we are talking, right? Is that a data?
Yes.
Any kind of information called data, I guess.
Okay. What if someone touches you? Is that data?
No.
Why that is not data?
I mean,
So
that is the
so so
fact. Okay.
whomever said no, right? I'll ask this. The doctor touches you to feel the temperature, right? Is that not data for him? Is that a data or not?
Yes, it's data.
Okay. Then, like, okay, you are feeling sad. Is that a data or not? You are feeling happy. Is that a data or not? All sort of
No,
emotions, happiness,
emojis are
sorrow.
not data, right?
Why? Why
It's a
that's not?
data.
So why it is not classified as a data?
Information has to be stored or saved somewhere with it.
See, see, we'll come to that point. That's where it boils down to. But don't you feel that emotions are data? So you guys are saying that it is not a data. Okay. Uh, see, whatever we see, touch, feel, hear, talk, everything is data in this world. Okay. So then I might ask that question, then how can a person be riding a bike without seeing the information in front of him, right? So there can be a lot of traffics that are upcoming. They need to handle that. These are all valid data points, right?
Yes.
So that being said, now comes the question: are these actually a data? Here's the question of debate: are these actually a data? Yes, these are actually a data. See, data can be divided into three types. Okay, structured data, unstructured data, and semi-structured data. So what do we mean by a structured data? So datas which can be literally formatted as a table and then stored, these are called as structured data. So these can be all the customer details, financial transactions, which a lot of people are saying, and other data that you guys have quoted. So the other data which I was mentioning, right, such as emotions, whatever we listen, musics, videos that we see, these are unstructured data. Currently, we don't possess the knowledge or the technology to store such kind of informations, but these are actual informations. So, see, for images, we are having certain means because we are training machine learning models and AI algorithms to detect images. We are slowly venturing into that path. Okay, but currently we don't have that technology with us. But we can't completely avoid stating that this is not a data. Those are actual data. Next comes the semi-structured data. So why this term semi-structured data? See, it has some structure to it, but you can convert that structure to a table format. That is meant by semi-structured data. For example, CSV files. Do you guys know what CSV files are?
Comma separated values.
Comma separated values. Most of the people won't even notice. Why so is because Excel, in Excel, using Excel, we can open CSV files. Excel has an inbuilt engine to parse the CSV values. So as he mentioned, CSV stands for comma separated values. After every value, there'll be a comma. So that's how that file will be built. That is semi-structured. Whereas Excel as an engine, it will parse that commas and then populate in form of tables for you. XML is another great example of semi-structured data. JSON files. These are all part of semi-structured data. So these are three are the basic branches of data. Now let's talk about data types. What like no, you can name any data type that you guys can recollect or remember. Can you guys try that? What are the different types of data types?
Integer.
Integer, string,
String.
nice.
integer,
Ah, nice. String,
Float.
integer, float.
float,
Ah, float. Then
Boolean.
boolean,
boolean,
nice.
Char, var,
Char, varchar, okay. See,
Text.
very good. Text, nice, very good. Then
Date and time.
date and time, very good. So you guys have shared a lot of data type, right? Let's put some hierarchy to it. What do I mean by hierarchy is that you guys have said string, text, and then said character, var character, and all of these things, right? So we have to group this together. So in order to, let's say you are having a name as a value, it can fall into string data types. What do we mean by string data types? So string data types usually encompasses letters. That's the general meaning. That's called a string data type. So apart from that, what else can the string data type store? It can store numbers, special symbols as well. Okay, these are the basic building blocks of string. So in order to hold those values, the data types include character, variable character. These two are the parent data type. The next comes text. Text is also a data type that we use. Okay. So now let's see the actual examples of text data type. So let's say in a database, you have to store some kind of text values. You are going to use any one of these only in the backend while creating a table. This is how your values will be. So either you can use character, var character, text, and karen, and then unmarked. But you might ask, see, if I just have one single data type, then why should the other data types exist? Simply, I can save it in that, right? There comes in, I would say during those times, memory was not cheap. Okay. So nowadays, storage is very cheap. I would say a 1 TB of hard disk can be purchased for 6,000 rupees. Okay. Whereas in those days, the maximum memory that was available was 500 MB in a floppy disk, whereas data would be in KB sizes. So that's how those people were, the infra was around. So in order to overcome all of those difficulties, they have to be creative. Let's start with character. So let's say, uh, let's take MODI. It has 4 characters. So let's create a column called as name using character as the data type and as well as varchar as the data type. So if you create character, right, using that, if you save Modi into that column, it will just take only 4 characters. Whereas varchar, like instead of when you have to mention any number, okay. So let's say here character, right? Character of 10, I am just, defining. Like, are you guys able to follow it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So character of 10, if I save the name Modi into that column, it will just allocate a memory of 4 byte. 4 bytes of memory would be used. Whereas var character of 10, right? Even though I'm saving Modi, which is just 4 characters, it will use 10 bytes of memory. So that is the difference between character and varchar. Memory efficiency. Varchar will use the entire memory to whatever string that you're using, whereas character is kind of sentient enough to allocate just the number of characters per byte. That's how character and varchar are differentiating. So both of these data type can house up to 8,000 characters. Okay, whereas character as well as variable character, right, varchar, can be used with the keyword max. Instead of you defining any number, you can simply use this keyword as max. I'll show you or demonstrate you with an example while we are creating tables. Whereas if we use the keyword max, right, this is the number of characters a single value can have. Okay, around hundreds, 100,000, 100 million, 1 billion characters, 1.1 billion characters nearly. Whereas let's say you want to even have a bigger range of characters, like this 1 billion character is not acceptable. Then what can I use? You can use the data type text. It can hold text up to 2 GB in size. So there are data types which can hold more than 2 GB as well, such as blob, clob, and all. I don't want to venture too deep into that. Whereas the next data type that you can use is text. It can hold up to 2 GB. So now comes the question, can Karen and Vacker. So can you guys try guessing what does this N might stand for? What possibly the N can stand for?
Defines the size of the character.
No, no. This nchar is a keyword. Nchar is a keyword. Char means character. Char means variable character. What does this n character stands for? Now that is the question. What can possibly it stand?
National variable character.
So what does this national stand for? What do we mean by national?
Languages.
What do you mean by languages? Can you be more specific?
Tamil.
Exactly. So I think you might be of computer science background. So yeah. So
Yeah.
so there's an end, right? Like conventionally, the Westerners just created all of these things with their language in mind, but not for the global audience. So apart from English, there are other languages that are being used, right? So for example, Tamil, you can say Kannada, Hindi, Greek uses their own language, you know, African language. There are so many African languages. Chinese is there, Japanese is there. Like all of them are different from each other, but these characters were not be able to be given as an input to a table because it will throw an error because this is not a part of their software. So in order to like instead of recreating the entire software, they cleverly introduced new two data types called as national characters and national variable characters, which can house special symbols. So, for example, in mathematical notations, we use sigma, right? Sigma, mu, lambda, summation. Those symbols were not no, were not an part of this software packages initially, but later on, upon introducing nchar and nvarchar, they were as a part. To cut this short, if you look at your keyboard, it will be a QWERTY keyboard, QWERTY, QWERTY keyboard. Yeah. So this will have default ASCII values. So what do I mean by ASCII values is that for every button in your keyboard, there will be a machine understandable value called as ASCII value assigned to it. So the machine doesn't understand letters or things, whereas it understands those numbers. So you now those extra ASCII values can be added to this data type and then be used. Whereas implementation wise, it's the same thing as the other data type, which will be seen shortly. So any questions on text related data types?
So nchar and nvarchar may be behaving same as character and varchar, but it
Yes.
includes some special characters, right?
Yes, we can use those data types to accommodate those special characters.
Okay, understand.
So
Thank you.
that's why nchar and nvarchar has been divided by half. Like the exact size has been downsized by half.
Okay,
Whereas their parent data type can hold 8,000 characters, whereas this nchar and nvarchar can just hold 4,000 characters.
okay, thank you.
So next comes numerics. Under numerics, the numbers are very simple. There are only two types of numbers, whole numbers and decimal numbers. Whole numbers are numbers which don't have an decimal point, whereas decimal numbers are numbers which has a decimal point. For example, 1.23456 something like that. And apart from this category, there is also one more type of numbers called as binaries, which the machines understand. Binary values include zeros, ones, and null. Null means no value. These three are the types of values which binary can be accommodated. Similarly, in order to store those category of numbers, we have specific data types. Fit data type can be used to save binary numbers. And for whole numbers, you can use int, tiny int, small int, big int, even float. Okay. All of these things can be used. But why do we have different derivation of the same data types? Again, memory constraint. So let's say you for a fact know that that column will just house values between 0 to 255. Just use tiny int. It's a memory efficient. Let's say slightly you want to expand that range from negative 32,000 to positive 32,000. you can use small int. Let's say your numbers would be ranging from minus 2 billion to positive 2 billion. It's int. Anything which is greater than that, directly you can use big int. So next comes the decimal number part. So decimal numbers can also, decimal data type can also hold whole numbers, whereas the whole number data type can't hold a decimal number. It'll convert it to a no, whole number. Okay. So float, right? It can hold a total digit length of 53 characters, like 53 in length. Okay. So that is the default value. Whereas you can change that to this range. So e into 10 power means you have to just multiply minus 1.79 into 10 power 308. That is the range. That's how long the number can be. Okay. So let's say you want to add more to that range for float numbers or decimal numbers, you can use the data type real. Real can be used. Let's say even bigger number needs to be derived, you can use money. Money as a data type. This money data type is kind of peculiar because this is just present in Oracle and not in other databases. Okay. Any questions before we jump on to the next data type? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Next is date and time. I need a volunteer for this exercise. So let's take what's the first name? Let's take Nageshwari. That you are the first name over here. So Nageshwari, I like when did you have breakfast today? Now you got so silent. Nageshwari, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When did you have breakfast today? Did you have breakfast today? Yeah. Maybe some other volunteers, anyone who would like to talk? Anyone? Anyone else?
8 o'clock, sir.
Okay. Okay. Kartika, 8 o'clock. When did you have breakfast yesterday?
Sorry, yesterday, wa?
Yes. Yesterday.
Yesterday, 8:30?
8:30. Day before that.
8:30.
The day before that as well.
Around 8:30 to 9 o'clock.
Okay. So every day your breakfast times changes, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll ask a couple of more questions to you. Can World War II happen again?
Sorry, sir. Again?
Can World War II happen
Hmm.
again?
No.
Why? You are eating breakfast daily, but why can't the World War II happen again?
Maybe World War III, 4, something like that. Again, can't happen World War II, right?
Why? Why is the question, right? I understand.
Yes.
Two,
Okay.
3, 4 can happen. But why not specifically World War II again?
Uh, different circumstances. I mean, different things are, no? The years, everything.
Ah, okay, the question.
Okay.
Okay. So the time changes, right? But the activities, so for all the time related data, you have to see it in two perspectives. Events which happen recurringly, sorry, events which can happen recurringly, and events which will happen only once. For example, birth of a person, death of a person, 9/11 incident, crashing of flights, bombing, killing of Osama bin Laden. All of these are historical events. This can't be repeated back, even in future. So those are non-repeatable items. Repeatable items include, you guys eating, doing your routines, hobbies, and all of the other things which can repeat over time. So this is how you have to see time and date related data types. Based on these two scenarios, we are just having only two data. One is timestamp, another one is date and time. Okay. All the historical things which can happen only once should be recorded under the data type timestamp. You might ask, why is that I can simply use date time? So there is a hidden rule in every SQL. So your table can just have only one timestamp data type, which will mark any important thing such as an account creation date. You can't create the same account multiple times. So that account creation date will be captured using timestamp data type only. Whereas login time dates can be recorded using the date time to data types. So that is the only difference between date time and date timestamp. Both will house date and time values, but depending on the use case, you or date time data type scenarios, you have to pick either one. A table can have only one timestamp data type. Simultaneously, it can have date time as a new data type column, but you can't repeat the timestamp for two columns. It will throw you an error. That is the understanding. Okay. And with respect to precisions, right? Date time can store values from 1753 to 9999 in the future with a time accuracy of 3.33 milliseconds. Let's say fortunately, you are having data from Christ, birth of Christ data. You can have from that range till 9999 in the future with a time accuracy of 100 nanosecond. Okay? And date can also be stored separately, time can be stored separately. These are all the data types that can house date, time, and date and time together. Any questions?
One more time, can you repeat timestamp,
Okay.
please?
All the historically important things will be recorded using timestamp. For example, birth of a person, death of a person, uh, you guys graduating schools, graduating from UGs. These are one-time activity. Okay, this can't happen multiple times. Whereas date time, right? It is used to record activities which are done repetitively, such as eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, going out with your friends, going for a movie. All of these things will be recorded under date time.
Okay, sir.
But majorly, the timestamps application is will be used for logging account creation date. Like in most of the customer databases which I have seen, it will be mostly used for denoting that when the customer ID was first created. Something.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And one more request from my end is that please don't address me as sir. Call me by my name, Rishi. That would be more.
Sure.
So, that's all I had on this presentation. My entire screen is up for you guys, right? Screen is
Yes.
right. Oh, okay. See, this is the UI that whomever is using Windows would be having, like with respect to the YouTube link and the other links which I have shared. This is a free version from Oracle called as SQL Developer. Oracle has other paid versions as well, such as Toad, other things. UIs will be changing. Okay, I can't teach you the UI, whereas concepts wise I'll teach you. So with respect to this UI, you might be able to see I have different data. So once you create your database, one would be a master database. So I have, for my reference, I have named it as master. Another one would be the HR database, where in that YouTube video, he will be running a lot of steps to get this database inserted. Please follow that. so that you are having this HRDB as well. So, so this pane, right? The connections pane. You just click on the plus on any of the databases. It will load a long list of objects. So these are all the items which are present in the databases. Our main focus for this particular sessions or forthcoming sessions will be tables, views, synonyms. Have any synonyms? But yeah, public synonyms will be the public synonyms. Then what else? Scope of interest. So these are like literally folders which will house all the objects in that for better structure and clarity. Okay. Uh, so once you connect to a database, right, like this is how your homepage will be looking like. Once you connect to a database, let's connect this. Double click on any database to connect it. If you connect it, the icon changes from the normal database to a database with a plug icon, as well as this white screen pops up. So this white screen is where you will type in all of your code. Okay. So I write a small code. So upon writing a code, couple of options got enabled over here. So in order to execute a code, you just click on this green color play button. So this is called an execute or run statement. The shortcut is Control Enter. Mostly I'll be using a shortcut, but yeah. So everything, and we have other options such as run script. So the SQL developer, right, has two modes of running. So if you click on run script, right, only the first 10 rows will be printed. Like couple of rows from the start, and randomly it will print it. Oh, sorry, my bad. It has printed everything, but in script format, terminal format. Okay. Whereas other things include, auto trace. This is an advanced option to understand what are the different tables that we are hitting. And then next one is SQL tuning and advisor. This is for optimizing your complex codes. Next is commit, which will be understanding as a command. Next is worksheet. This is an sharing of worksheets. Let's say you're working in an office environment, you can share this current worksheet with other employees so that they can actually collaborate. Those things options. Whereas the major focus is this play button run statement to run any kind of command. Okay. So yeah. And once you run a command, this white screen will be divided into two parts. One is the input pane, another one is the output pane. Output pane is basically the output of your queries will be displayed. Whereas in the white screen, you can write your code. So, good. The first concept that we are to hit is called order of writing a query and order of execution. These two are very, very fundamental. But you might say, oh, okay, what is that in that? But these are very, very important things, both in terms of understanding how SQL will function, as well as in perspective of interviews as well. Okay. Let's start with order of writing. And by the way, if on all you see double hyphens in any kind of SQL script, it means it's a comment. The program won't execute it. Okay. For order of writing, first we always will have select statement, then followed by from statement. Here you can also have subquery. From can also have a table name. Table name. Like I'm just writing in brackets what this from statement will hold. Table names or subquery queries. Then comes joins. Then comes where clause, where do by Um, Provide. This is the exact order in which you will be writing your SQL script. Whereas I have mentioned star in 1 and 2. What does that star mean? Star means it's mandatory. Like just for your, understanding purpose, I'm adding a star. So whatever select statement that you write, select and from is mandatory. Without select and from, your SQL query won't be accepted as a part of an functional query. Okay. Whereas others, right, from joins to order by, it's kind of, uh, conditional. Depending on the use cases, you can write it or you can leave it. But this is the exact order in which you would be writing your SQL codes. For example, select star from twice. This is one simple code. Okay. Select from, see the same exact order I'm writing. Select star from. Whereas, like, let's say I want to add a filter clause. I want to filter certain things. Where mm, where I'm one month. Maybe we'll I'm skipping clauses. So whatever is only needed, I'm writing it. In the first query, I just wrote the mandatory one, selection from. In the second example, which I have written the select and from directly by where. I have skipped joins because in this scenario, I did not need a join. So that's why I added these are conditional. Depending on the use cases, you can write it. But if you write it, you have to follow the same exact order. You can't. So let's take a scenario. So you can't first write group by and then var. It'll throw you an error. You have to first write var and then only group by. That's how it is written. Okay. Cool. Mm, Next comes order of execution. So even though you have strictly followed the same order while writing your code, the system doesn't exactly execute that code in the same order. It follows a different order. So the order will be looking something like this. From, and let's say you're having a join, then join would be executed. Let's say you're having a subquery, your subquery will also be executed. Table name of subquery. Table name of subquery will be used, and then joins will be executed. Then it will go to um, let me- patterns filtration will happen. Mm, Group by will happen. Then group by and then having will be executed. So would be select. And finally, so in this order is where your code would be executed. Even though you are following a different order of writing, the system will exactly execute a code from this order. For this, I can give an analogy. So, Kartika, you want to eat mangoes. What you will do?
I'll buy and eat.
You will buy and eat.
Yes, sir.
So that is the simple code that you are writing. Your code is like I'll go to a shop, buy it and eat it. But at the back end, how does the mango magically end up in the shop?
From the farm.
From the farm. So that is the back end magic, right? So from the farm, you are selecting that mango and then placing it in the shop so that you can go and buy it. Okay, there is a different process. If and all you're looking at the product's end, whereas from a user's end, this is how it will look. Okay, so clear, right? So I'll give the first assignment of the session. Okay, so how do you represent addition, subtraction, multiplication, division?
Plus minus.
Plus.
Or
The
Plus
same thing.
minus.
Same thing. Same thing. So Mohan Kumar, you are raising your hand. Do you have anything? Mohan, do you have anything? Okay. So let's start with the arithmetic operations part. Here is a exactly there. Arithmetic ops. So those are the symbols that we would be using are subtraction, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So now I want you guys to dictate me how we can frame this from yesterday's class using the same order of writing. I want to add two numbers, subtract two numbers, multiply two numbers, and divide two numbers. How to do it? Any idea?
Select 10 plus 5 as
Select the.
total
Okay. Then.
from the
Mhm. Then.
like that.
So we'll start writing it as you guys did. Select 10 plus 2 as total. Then
From
from
divide.
group. Great. So I want to have all of the four operations in one select. How can we do it? Any idea? Any idea? So what we can do is that we can simply add a comma and then we can call multiple expressions or columns for that sake. So let's do 10 minus 2 as fraction. We'll do 5 star 2 as multiplication. Okay. Then let's do 5 divided by 2 minus log as division. Okay. If I hit enter, control enter, all of these four would be executed and then each comma would be treated as a different column. So this is how you can call multiple columns from a table as well as you can write multiple custom expressions in a single select statement. The select equivalent from a table would be something looking like this. So first underscore name, last. I can add commas and then I can call multiple columns. This is how we use commas within select statement to call multiple columns and then do the custom operations that we want to do. Uh, so any questions in implementing this particular arithmetic operations? Any questions? Anything?
No.
So These four are the arithmetic operations that you guys have quoted. Apart from that, there is one
So
more.
one second, sir, sir, sir.
Mhm.
Sir, on the top of that, you give the heading like total, subtraction, multiplication. Here
Yes.
you give employee ID and first name, last name. What of the
Right.
below data? It's like what the how come the data is coming out?
No, because I ran the select statement because this is a table existing.
Okay, okay.
So I have added a semicolon. Okay. So whenever you add a semicolon after a table name, that means my select query has ended. This is one select statement. And whatever so semicolon is kind of an ending statement. Okay. It marks the end of that particular query. So apart from this four arithmetic operations, right, there is one more arithmetic operation called as modulo. Okay. In order to understand modulo, we have to start with the division operator. So when you divide a number, what is the expected result is being written, which is being written? What is the expected result? Like let's say I'm dividing 5 by 2. What is the result?
2.5.
2. No, 2.5. So we got it. So this 2.5 is what?
The decimal number.
Float,
No. Like in terms of operations, I'm asking.
Question.
So quotient, exactly, it's quotient. So there is one more basic arithmetic operation which will return the remainder of that, yeah, of the division. It's called as modulo. So modulo is a custom formula. Like there is no symbol to it. So like there are net கிடைக்கல. Hello.
so voice is breaking.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Like there was a network interruption from my end. So yeah, is my screen visible for everyone again? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So like what was the last statement that you guys heard from my end?
Quotient.
Aha, quotient. It's quotient. Whenever you divide some number, we'll always get the quotient, right? So there is an operator which will return the remainder of that particular divisions. Okay, so that operation is called as modulo. So we don't have a specific symbol to it, rather than it's a for function. We have to call a mod. Then have to open and close a bracket, enter the numbers. So you want 5 to be divided by 2. I write 5 comma 2 as remainder. See, remainder is 1. When you divide 5 by 2, so 2 twos are 4. So you'll add 2 to the quotient, and then if you subtract it, remainder is 1. So this remainder is being returned to us. So this is also one another arithmetic operation that you have to know while you are doing SQL. Cool. Any questions on this model operation?
No.
Okay. So anyone, any questions on the entire thing, arithmetic operations? Okay. So next is comparison operators. What do we, what are the things that you guys know of comparison operators?
Greater than, less than, equal to.
Equal to.
Okay.
Less
Can you
than or equal
compare?
to, greater than or equal to.
Correct,
Not equal.
exactly. So can you compare text? Can you compare text?
Yes.
How you can compare text?
Equal to.
So, are you sure? Can compare
No,
text.
no, I'm not sure. Sorry
No,
for
no, no.
that.
I'm just trying to ask and see. I'm just trying to understand. So where, like, this is again one of the interview questions. So let's say they want to actually test your understanding of all the basic concepts. They'll ask this question: can we compare text? So see, it depends on the context of how we are comparing the text. Okay. In SQL specifically, text can't be compared. Text can be just checked if, like I would say, if this is existing or not, if it is directly there or not, we can check it. We can't say uh, mm, Amit Shah greater than Modi. That kind of comparisons we can't do. Whereas there is one more comparison that you can do, that is length of the text. So the expected answer for this question is that you have to say diplomatically the length of the text can be compared by using the conventional comparison operators, but not the text itself. But we can try to find if it is present or not in a certain list of text. This should be your answer. So, uh, as you guys quoted, greater than, less than, uh, greater than equal to, less than equal to. So, not equal to has a peculiar notation. You can use this two angular brackets combined together. You can use this as a not equal to, or you can use exclamation and then equal to. This is also a not operator. Okay. And then for equals to, you can directly use equal to. This is the comparison operators. Now I'll ask the question. So, or like, where do we actually use the comparison operators? So, just try to think with respect to what we have learned in yesterday's class in order of writing, where we can possibly use a comparison operator.
Numbers.
No. I'm not talking about the numbers or things.
Okay.
In the order of writing, where we can possibly use this?
Where?
Where clause. So, exactly. Now I'll ask one more question. What can be the possible use case of using a comparison operator? What can be the possible use case of using a comparison operator? For what purpose we might use a comparison operator? In real life, don't think about SQL. Just whatever questions that I'm asking, right? You just think about real life and then answer them.
To compare two things.
To compare two things exactly. By comparing what are you deriving or what are you inferring?
For example, employee's salary.
No, give me more detailed version of that employee salary.
We are comparing how one person earns more than the other person.
So, okay, that is one type of inference. Um, let's say mm, in NEET examinations, they are setting a cutoff mark, right? Like for this college, this should be the cutoff mark. So that is also a comparison operator, right? Correct? Is that a comparison operator or not? They are saying 195 greater than means this college admissions are there. What is that? It's a greater than comparison. What that comparison is essentially doing?
Maybe filtering.
Exactly. It will be filtering the data. So all of this comparison operators that you are seeing in SQL will just filter the data. So that's where these, someone also said for the question where this will be used, where clause. So where clause is used for filtering the data. So this is how it got derived. Comparison operators are used to filter the data, and comparison operators will be used in a where clause. Okay, that is the only use of where clause. We'll try to implement a where clause. We'll select this one. This select statement. Where, let's say employee ID underscore ID equals to 100. Only one row has been returned where employee ID was 100. Well, let's say in this case, I want to see all the employees who are greater than 200. I'll simply replace equals to with all the employees who are having an ID greater than 200 has been returned to us. Let's say you want to have a less than, you just replace the symbols and then add it. Okay. So now I'll ask one tricky question. So I want to return both the employee ID 100 and 101. How I can do it? So
Using AND operator.
using AND operator. So like I haven't taught what AND is. So next what we have to cover is called as logical operations. Logical operators. Okay. Under logical operators, we are having AND, OR, and not. And or not. These three are the logical operators. So this not right is the keyword representation of this thing. These two. Instead of the symbol as well, you can write not. That will also work. That not keyword is essentially used for text related comparisons, not for numeric. For numeric, you have to follow this greater than greater than less than exclamation equal to. You can swap these two symbols, but for text related comparison, we have to use not. We'll see that in a short while. So these are called as logical operators, and or and not. So what does and do in logical operations? Anyone?
Check both conditions.
So
It will return true
it will return true.
if both conditions are true.
Correct. So logical operators can be easily understood by a concept called as truth table. Okay. So I'll just give me a minute. I'll reshare my screen. Uh, so my screen is up, right? My screen is up, right? Everyone? So the truth table that we want to focus on is here. This PQ, P cap Q. So P is one column, Q is another column. Just assume that. So these are the values. P has T and Q has T. And then P has T and Q has F. P has F, Q has T. P has F and Q has F. So if both the values are true, then your AND condition will be true. Okay. If any one of the values is true and another one is false, by default AND will return false. Same thing ulta. So this is AND operator, the first table which the cap table that we were talking about. Next is OR table. So OR is the exact opposite. Even if any one of the condition is true, it will return true. So see here for the same value combinations, when P is T and Q is T, it's T. When P is T and Q is F, it's T. When P is F and Q is T, it's T. Whereas the only place where OR will return false is that if both the columns are false. So these two are the truth tables that you must have in your mind to understand the logical operators. Now switching back. Just give me a minute, I'll reshare my screen. Our SQL screen is up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now you guys detect me the answer for which I have asked. I want the employee ID of 100 and 200 to be filtered out directly. How we should write it? Okay. I have written a query which will return employee ID 100. How should I filter for 200 as well?
And the employee ID equal to 200.
And employee ID equal to 200. Okay, we'll try.
Double and single of and
Sorry,
um,
sorry, Vasha, I'm not able to get.
I think you should use that symbol ampersand symbol.
And symbol.
Yeah.
There is no and symbol.
Okay, in Postgres SQL we use
So that's why Postgres is there. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whereas instead of that and symbol, you can use and keyword as well. It will work.
Okay.
Why it is not working? You guys only say. Okay, I am saying that this will exactly work if I use or. Why is that the case? Now you guys have to tell. If by using an or statement, both 100 and 200 has been returned. Whereas if I use an and statement, no results are getting populated. Why is that? Like what is happening exactly here?
Because employee ID will be either 100 or 200, not both.
Exactly. So a lot of people won't understand this concept of filtering the data. So, sorry, like most of the people won't understand the concept of how SQL is applying that filter on the data. My bad. So let's select the entire data set first and then we'll see. So this is the entire table, right? How the datas are present in form of rows and columns, correct? Every row will have multiple column and its values associated, correct? So what this data, what this where condition will do is that it will apply the filter for every row, not on column wise. Filters are applied on row wise action, not on column wise action. Please remember that. So it will take the first row, then it will go and then check this particular first where clause. Where employee is equal to 100, it will be happy. Yes, I have the 100. And then it will go to the second condition. I have said and employee equal to 200. Whether 100 is equal to 200, is that true? Is that true? Can 100 be 200 at the same time?
No.
So now go back to the truth table, which I was showcasing. For uncondition, if one condition is true and another one is false, what is the expected outcome?
False.
So that's why this uncondition failed. There is no result. Whereas or has written both of the result. How is that possible? So now consider the or truth table. If one of the condition is satisfied, it will return the true. So that is why employee ID 100, like it will first go and check employee ID 100. Yes, one condition has been satisfied. For the same row, it will apply this condition. Employee ID is equal to 200. This will fail. So as per the or truth table, if one condition is true, another one isn't false, the expected result is true. So this 100 row will be returned to us. Similarly, it will apply both of the filter for all the rows till one another condition is satisfied, that is 200. So both of the results will be returned to us. So this is how and or condition works in SQL. Okay. Any questions? Any questions, guys?
No.
Okay. So Just give me a minute. For today's assignment, right? I don't think so. I can give assignments for today. So please have escaped. So I'll just stop it here for today. We are having just 8 more minutes. If I start with text, it'll kind of extend beyond. So now for assignment, right? Instead of writing a code, we'll do one exercise. There is a command called as describe, DSCRIB in Oracle. You guys have to explain me tomorrow of what describe does. Okay, cool. Just send this codes in our WhatsApp group and then uh, okay. So there was this one more person who said it's not working. Can you try reinstalling the application? Like, Vidya, if you could try reinstalling, right, it could fix it mostly. Ideally, sometimes what happens while installing is that there is a port called as listening port. It would not be enabled. So try reinstalling it once more. It should work. If that is not working, then I would highly advise you to use the online compiler which I have shared. So both are having the same thing. Cool then. So before we close out, guys, is there any questions that you guys are having that needs to be answered?
Sir, won't it throw error in the output box like when
Or
we use AND operator?
no, it won't throw. It won't return any result. See, it won't return anything.
So, sir, basically this Oracle and MySQL, they operate
Mhm.
same, right?
Like all the SQLs operate the same. So irrespective of the providers on basic things. So see, the only thing where other database providers or DBMS providers differs are keywords. So as you could see, one person said that instead of using and, can you use this thing? So in Oracle, it won't register. Whereas you have to mandatorily use the and keyword. Whereas in Postgres, you can use both and keyword, this keyword, as well as the and symbol. Both will work. One more instance that I can say is that in Oracle, you can to concat two words. So let's say first name and last name. I'll explain what concatenation in the later on classes in depth. Whereas very higher level, I'm just saying. So select. Select first name and last name. Let's say I want to combine these two columns, right? In other databases, we have a keyword called as concat. So here we are using a bit different approach. We use this. See, first name and last name has been concatenated together. This pipe symbol. So similarly, there will be small differences here and there. Okay, that is the only thing. Apart from that, concept wise, everything is the same. So if you learn one concept here, you can literally search for that concept in a different database, but it will exist. Pakka.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other questions, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, then that's all I had. Thanks, guys. Let's meet again tomorrow and really apologize for today's delay. Okay. Just a moment. There's my audio. So in today's class, we have to start from the continuation of filtrations of text related values, and then we'll slowly move into the other parts. Okay. So select from ID. So now they ask us to filter names based on the first name. How do we even filter it? Any idea? So how do we generally use a filter? We mention the column name and then do the comparison operator, right? So for text related values, the direct comparison operator that you can do is just an equals to operation. Okay, let's say I want to filter all the names which are having ln. This is how you directly do it. See, wherever the name ln is, with this spelling, of course, would be written to you. Let's say you want to have multiple names to be filtered out. For example, Sundar as well. We just add an or clause. Same like yesterday. See, both of these got filtered out. You might ask, apart from this, is there any other ways of filtering text? Yes, there are different ways on how to filter a text. So those would be text matching functions such as like statement, in statement, and regex. In Oracle, there is a concept called as regex. We'll all cover those when we are seeing text matching functions. Cool. Any questions before we proceed? Anyone, any questions? Okay. So I'll start with the, homework or assignment that I gave. Did anyone do it? Like suddenly everyone is so silent. So like what was the assignment that was given?
Describe word in
Ha,
SQL.
exactly. Did you guys try to do it?
Describe word will retrieve the structure of the table.
So, so how is it helpful for us?
So we know what are the columns existed in the table.
Ha. So exactly. So as a part of describe, right? There are other ways or to see the structure of the table. For example, if you could see, I just expanded the table and it gave me the column names. So if I just double click on the table name in Oracle, I'll have more detailed version of the same, such as what is the column name, what is the data type, is it nullable or constraints essentially, what are the comments, like that. So describe will return till here, I guess. These two would be returned depending on what type of software that we use within Oracle. If we use stored, describe will give us more lot of details. Okay, it depends on the UI. Whereas that is the overall point of describe and how, and these are the alternate ways in which the same result such as describe can be done. Okay, cool. So now it's sorting time. So select, just select from this one. So how is the data sorted? Is it sorted first of all? Is this data sorted, guys? Based on employee ID or even first name, whatever the column is the data having some kind of order to it?
No.
No.
So we can give custom orders based on whatever columns that we like. That command can be done by using a keyword called as order by. So order by always comes after from. So from order by, just refer to the order of writing wherever I'm using keywords. Order by, let's say I want to order by the employee ID, ascending order, and just type in the column and then give the keyword as ASC. Now the data is sorted based on ascending the employee ID in an ascending order. Let's say I want to do descending. DESC is the keyword. The data has been sorted descending. Cool. So let's say you want to use more than one columns to sort the data. How we can do it? So I'll also call in department ID. So we are having department ID. We are having, wait, we just select this and then show. Why is it getting sorted? It shouldn't be. Okay. As you could see, in the department IDs are jumbled, whereas employee ID is also jumbled and name is also jumbled. I want to now sort first based on the department ID. The smallest department ID should come first, and within each department ascending fashion, 1 through 110. Whereas every department, if there is more than one employee, the data has been sorted in the descending order. For example, let's take 20. 20 as the department ID. So here there are only two employees, essentially 201 and 202. Here the data has been ordered as 202 as first and 201 as the second. Okay, this is how you can sort multiple columns using multiple commons in one single select statement. Any questions on sorting?
Sir, how to sort by alphabetical wise? Alphabetical order.
You just call in that column. So let's say I want to sort the data based on the first name, right? So you just call in the first name. Simple as that. See. So the sort condition order by right, it doesn't differentiate the values. Whatever column that you give, it'll automatically detect the data type and then do the sorting accordingly. Let's say it is a text column, it'll sort through A through Z. If it is a numeric column, 0 to 9, something like that.
Okay, sir. Fine.
Any other questions before we go? Okay. Okay, guys. So, okay. So next is couple of functions, mathematical functions, and then few gimmicky functions that are most frequently used. We'll cover that. One is round function. So this is again a mathematical function. So do you guys know about rounding of numbers? Rounding of numbers? Guys?
Yes,
So what does rounding of numbers mean?
it will round to the nearest tenth value.
Okay. So does rounding of always rounds to the nearest tenth?
Not exactly.
But that is a core principle. I agree completely. So we can do something similar in SQL using a function called as round. Okay. You just have to declare round first, followed by open and close a bracket. And inside that bracket, you just give whatever number that needs to be rounded off. 193. Okay. I'll put a comma and then here is the important one. It's -1. We'll see what will happen. I'll copy this and then we'll add a couple of more random numbers. Instead of -1, I'll give 1. And then I'll give 4. What is exactly happening? If I give -1, the whole number part is just being considered for rounding off. Okay. Since rounding off follows a law of 5 or greater than 5, it will go to the next highest number. So 5 was the ones place, right? Since 5 is greater than or equal to 5, it will always be rounded off to the next highest power, which is in this case 20. Okay. Whereas if you give 1 or any positive notations, right, it will try to round off that number to that extent. So since I have given as 1, this, okay, I will copy this number. My bad. So here I am saying to the system that you have to round it off to 1 decimal. So 15.2. This is what this positive notations means. And this means that this entire number needs to be rounded off to 4 decimal digits. So upon trying to round off, it's 19.32. So 15.1932. So is everyone in the same page? Like everyone understood what rounding off is? How is it working?
Can you explain that -1 concept?
So if and all you declare a -1 as a parameter, right, for round function, it will just try to round off whole numbers. It won't even consider your decimal part. It will just consider the whole number and then it will try to round it off to the next highest possible. Power possible. So 15, since this is 15 is greater than, uh, like lies between 15 and 20, it will round off to 20. That is the thing. Let's say this lies between, like the number is 14. Since this is below, no, since this is between 10 and 15, it will be rounded off to 10. See? I hope that explained. Are you clear or should I re-explain it?
No, no, no.
Cool. Then I'll also add this as one reference in your code so that you guys can relate to. Cool. So next function is called trunk function. So this is one of my favorite function, I would say. Trunk function can be used to truncate things. So I'll copy paste the same values. So instead of round right, I will use trunk. So in trunk right, -1 is not possible. So we can directly remove that. See, what trunk function does is that it exactly extracts the said number of values from the input and then displays it to us. So when given with a decimal number, trunk usually works with a decimal number. So I'm saying this is my input and I'm saying after decimal only one digit is needed for me. So it will literally print out 15.1. In this case, it's 15.1932. Okay. So you might ask how round and trunk are different. Round will round off the numbers to the next power possible, whereas truncate will just extract the number and then show it to us. This is more or less like to maintain a standard number counts while reporting. Okay, that's all. While creating this is like an beautification code, beautification trunk. I don't want to change any of the values. I just need the exact values to be presented with precision means use trunk. Cool. Any questions on trunk? Any questions? Any questions on trunk?
No.
Okay. So next is data type conversions. So, okay, you might ask, sorry, Vijay Shanti, you are talking something? Why you
Sorry,
talking
sir.
something?
Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool. So data type conversions. So what do we mean by data type conversion? Why do we need it in the first place? So you might be thinking that whatever table it is there, all the data would be stored in their proper data format. No, that's never the case. Like when you go into the world of data science, right? No one like would have any kind of proper data. Everything would be improper data, such as data type, inconsistent values, anomalous values, like these. Okay. Uh, for example, like since I was being a part of a data engineering project, when I was creating pipelines, there are certain shortcuts that you can do to get the value into a table, such as instead of properly giving data types to every column, I or most of the people used text for every column as the data type, because we know for a fact that character, variable characters, and text, all the string data types can hold both numerics as well as alphabets. So at the end of the day, if we just look at these data, right, everything is text only. We are custom giving the data types for our own convenience. So most of the data that you are using in tables, final production tables, would be of string data type. You have to manually convert it and then use it. That's why all of these conversion functions would help you. Okay. So the first one is to date function. So whatever conversions that I am talking about is very specific to Oracle. There are conversion functions like in other database tools as well, but the syntaxes and then the inputs or parameters will change. For example, um, in SSMS, right? We have a function called as try date or cast. Cast is the main one which is used in SSMS. So here we can mention specific date formats, whereas there it will be numeric codes. We have to kind of remember what code will give what format, and then we have to input. So those are the small changes across different database providers, but the concept exists. So select from 12. So here for reference, I'll use an system command called as sysdate for your reference. I'll show you. So in all of the databases, this is the standard format of storing date. Okay. When the date is stored as a date, this is how it will be looking. Day, month, and year separated by a hyphen. But in a non-ideal environment, the data can be looking something like this. Let's say 2025 slash 11 slash 13. One date can look like this. Let's say we are having just 25 slash 13 slash 11. And then we are having 25 space November NOV hyphen 25. Okay. And then to the adverse case, there can be certain dates which would be looking like this 13/11/2025. So this date, right? Most of the logistics or timestamp based businesses use this format directly. Okay. So these can be the different formats of date, how it will be. But ideally, it should look in our system is in this particular format. So in order to do that, we can use to date function, to underscore date. So this is the keyword which converts text or having different formats of dates to be converted to the standard format of date. I will copy paste. Into date, I have to add a comma after you give the input. Add a comma, and after this is the most important piece. So you have to mention the format of that date. So, so what is the date format here? Can you guys guess? How is it be looking like to you? In terms of year, month, date, you guys say which is where?
Year, month, and date.
So year, month, and date. We have to mention the same as the second parameters input. So for year, then we are having a separator of slash, q slash. Next is month, type in as slash dd. This is how the format would be looking like. Now, can you guys guess the format for this? For the second one, can you guys guess it?
Year,
So how many digits of year is there?
Two.
So just add two y's. Slash next is date. Just give two d's slash And for this format, right, since you have figured out what is what exactly, YY, two digits for year, and then there is a space, hit space. And then since this is a partial text month, you have to type in as MON. Then we are having a hyphen, add hyphen, and then say, oh, sorry, we'll change the date to November 13th, right, today. We'll change the date, PD. And for this, the format is DDMMYYY. Okay. Now, every input that is present here in the toDate function has been converted like the first cell. Okay. Standard. This is called as standardization or converting text-based dates to actual date columns. This is the function. Any question on this toDate?
No.
Okay. Next is to number. Numbers can also be stored as text. Okay. So most of the databases has one hidden automatically enabled feature called as auto conversions. Okay. So what it does is that this auto conversion function, even though the numbers are stored as a text in a table, it will allow you to do mathematical operations on it. Okay, the system itself will convert it for you, whereas certain databases are very strict about it. It won't allow any operations unless until you convert it back to a number. Okay, during runtime. So for that we have a function called as to number, to underscore number. This is the function. So similarly, to number also takes two inputs. One is the actual value which needs to be converted. Second one being the format. To represent numbers, we use the digit 9 as the format symbol. So the number of nines that you have to give is equals to the length of the entire number. So here only 4 digits, then that means 4 nines, 124. It, since there is no physical difference of the numbers, right? You are not able to see it. So that is the only thing. Okay. So there is also one more thumb rule, I would say. So the minimum number of nines that you should add here is equals to the total length of the number. So since there are 4 digits, minimum number of nines is 4 nines. You can't give 3 nines or 2 nines or 1 9. It'll throw you an error. Whereas you can have n number of nines. This will work. This will still work. The minimum requirement is you should have the total number of length of that number equals to the total number of nines that you are inputting as a formatter. So, any questions?
I'm sorry, can you tell me why we are entering this 9 in the side? I'm sorry, can you repeat
Like
it?
9 is the format equivalent that we are using in this. So you understood this DDMMYY, right?
No, not exactly. Actually, what we are telling to date is the format we entered should be the same as the second part, right?
No. So this is the input string data, correct?
Okay, correct. Okay.
So in order to convert this input string date, we are telling the system that, hey boss, this date which I have inputted is in this particular format. So can you use this as your reference and then convert it to the standard format? That's all.
Okay, understand. Okay.
So similarly, in order to convert numbers, right, there needs to be some kind of notations, correct? So in a
Correct.
date, we have year, month, and date. So those keywords are present. For numbers, there is no such thing. So that's why the developers use the notation of nines. So instead of nine, you can use zeros as well in Oracle.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Zeros will also work.
Okay,
But
understand.
as a standard practice, zeros will exactly work whenever the number of zeros is equals to the number of digits.
Oh, okay.
So that's why people have migrated from using zeros to nines. Nine is another formatter for no format indicator of numbers. So 9 has the flexibility like uh, the minimum number of nines that you have to enter is equal to the total length of the digit, or else you can randomly give however number of nines that you would like to have.
Okay, understand. Thank you.
Okay. So any other questions, guys, with to date or to number before we go into the text conversion? Any other questions or doubts? Okay. So next is to character. So till now we have seen text to numbers, text to dates, whereas now we are trying to do the exact opposite of what we have done. Date to text, numbers to text. For that, we are using a function called as toChar. Okay, to underscore char, CHAR. So start with to underscore CHAR for numbers, right? I'll copy paste the same thing. So toChar also takes two inputs. One is the number, that is the actual input. Another one is the formatter. Formatter, you can give whatever number of nines that you would like. Okay. There is also one more special notation or a special reason of converting numbers to text. It's for accounting purpose. Okay. So let's say I want to add a dollar symbol. Only dollar symbol is accepted. No other currency symbols are accepted. So since I can add a dollar symbol and then I can add decimals. Let's say I have to add this much number of decimal. After every three nines or after every three numbers, I'll add a comma like this. I can do. See the same number which I have inputted with different nine formatters, with different formatters essentially. One is like converting the number directly to a text without any addition of commas or dollar notations or anything. Or a second one including dollar notations as well as commas. So this dollar is not mandatory. So let's say I want to remove the dollar out. I can do that. Still the other formattings would be applied, such as commas and decimals. Okay. This is how you convert a number to a text. Any questions? Any questions, guys?
No.
Okay. Next is dates. I'm copy pasting it literally from the to date function. Instead of to date, just replace it with to cap. And instead of these hard coded dates, right? Let's use sys date. See, This was our standard date. This is how our standard dates would be looking like in the tables. Whereas since I have mentioned whatever formats that I need, the same data has been formatted into the other things. See? Any question on date to text conversion? Any questions? Any questions, guys?
Oh,
Okay. Now I'll give you 5 minutes time. Okay. You guys have to quickly Google and tell me, or you guys can think and also tell me. Okay. Let-
Sir, can you repeat once again?
I'm sorry, what can I know what needs to be repeated, Naina?
Sir, you say I break down your voice.
Okay. So what I said was I'll give you 5 to 10 minutes.
Ah.
Either you guys think by yourself or you can go to Google, but I need your answers after that 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. So I ran a code. So here is the output. See?
Okay.
I want you guys to say which cell is having a value and which is not having a value. Take your time, do your research, come back. 5 minutes. Will 5 minutes do? 5 minutes from now. Now it's 37. For no, now it's 38. 43. You guys have to answer this. Which cell is having a value? This bracket of null or this one? Well, what is having a value? Which is essentially blank. Which is not having a value is what you have to tell.
Single quotes have value. You hear me?
See, don't look at the code. Okay, I'll remove. See, just by looking at the output, you guys have to see. Yeah. Just 2 more minutes. What's the answer, guys? Which one is having a value? Which one is having a value, guys? Which one? First one or the second one?
The second one,
Second one is having a value. Are you sure the second one is having a value?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the value which is present in that?
blank space.
Exactly. White space. So whenever you are seeing a no, like whenever you are seeing a table to understand the data, right? Whenever you spot a complete white cell, that means it is having a white space as its value. This is again one more important interview questions. So they'll ask, how do you define a true empty cell? Okay. You have to say when the cell contains null within a bracket, then it can represent empty cell. Okay. That's how it is. Now, based on this, we'll see a function called as NVL. Okay, this is null replacement functions, something like that. Okay. So select function visibility from spelling double M. See, this particular column has a lot of nulls as well as values. So my ask is that I have to replace all the nulls with zero, numeric zero, not text zero, numeric zero. What I can do? So we can simply use a function called as NVL, null value function. This name, no, this NVL is null value. That is the full form of NVL. So just type in as NVL, okay, and then just paste it, and then we have to give a replacement value. This is the basic syntax. See, it has replaced all the nulls with zeros. Straight as that. Okay, this is how you replace nulls with whatever value that you are liking. Now you might ask, I want to replace all the nulls with a text zero. How can I do it? Like text zero as in any string, I'm saying. So let's say we'll say this was not. This is the value which I want to. This will throw an error. Why so is because the data type which is present in that column is numeric. The replacement can be numeric, not in text. But let's say you want to force fit a text in that, right? Then what you can do is that you can convert it. You can convert the commission points column to text. So in order to convert a numeric column to text, how do we do that? How do we do that, guys? How do you convert a numeric column to an text column?
To care, we use to
Ah,
care.
we have to use to care. So I'm just enveloping to care. See, this was null. That has also been generated. Whenever you want to fill a null value with the text, you have to convert the source column to the text column. So this is how it will be looking like. Cool. Any questions on this NVL function? Any questions, guys?
No.
Okay. I'll just stop it here for